Dear listeners, a new day and a new story to discuss. Today, I'm going to tell you a story that interests me. Listen and write down what you think about this situation. I'm interested in your opinions. The air was thick with the anticipation of teenage dreams and awkward dances. It was the kind of evening that felt like the start of something big. I was just a high school junior, Alex, a bit of a bookworm, more at home in the quiet corners of the library than on a dance floor. But there I was at the school dance, thanks to the persistent nagging of my friends. Come on, Alex. It's not every day you get to live a little, they'd said. I was fiddling with my tie, feeling out of place among the sea of swaying bodies and rhythmic beats, when I first saw her, Emily. She was laughing, her head thrown back in pure joy, dancing in a circle with her friends. Her hair was a cascade of golden waves, her dress a simple blue that matched her eyes. Dude, you're staring, my friend, Mike, nudged me, chuckling. I'm not, I lied, feeling my cheeks burn. But I was. I couldn't help it. There was something about her, an energy, a light. It wasn't long before our paths crossed, right near the punch bowl. Hey, clumsy. Emily laughed as I nearly knocked over the punch bowl, trying to avoid a collision with her. Sorry, I'm Alex, I stammered, feeling my face grow hotter. I know who you are, she smiled, her eyes twinkling. You're the guy who aced Mr. Henderson's impossible history test, right? I nodded, surprised she knew who I was. I'm Emily. And I think it's brave, coming here when you'd rather be reading. How did you know? It's written all over you, she winked. But I like that. I like someone who's true to themselves. We talked then, about everything and nothing. About her dreams of Hollywood and acting, about my love for books and my aspirations in law. We laughed over shared stories of school mishaps, debated the best movie of the year, and discussed our favorite novels. Emily, come dance, her friends called. In a minute, she called back, but her eyes never left mine. The music shifted, a slower tune filling the air. Without thinking, I blurted out, would you like to dance? There was a moment, a heartbeat, a breath, where I thought I'd overstepped. But then she smiled, that radiant smile that could outshine the stars. I thought you'd never ask. On the dance floor, with her hand in mine, the world faded away. It was just Emily and me, moving to a rhythm that felt as old as time. I'd never been one for dancing, but with her, everything felt natural, right? You're not so bad at this, she teased gently. You're an excellent teacher, I replied, my confidence growing. The song ended all too soon, but the night was just beginning. We spent the rest of the evening together, talking and laughing, as if we'd known each other for a lifetime. When the final song played, signaling the end of the dance, I felt a pang of disappointment. But Emily just grabbed my hand. This isn't the end, Alex. It's just the beginning. And she was right. That night was the start of our story, a story of love, dreams, and the beautiful, complicated journey we embarked on together. As we walked out into the cool night air, her hand still in mine, I knew something had changed. And that one evening, in those few hours, my life had shifted in the most wonderful way. Emily had walked into my world, and nothing would ever be the same. The months following the dance were a whirlwind of stolen moments and burgeoning love. Emily and I were inseparable, finding joy in the simplest of things, shared lunches, long walks after school, and endless conversations under the stars. We were two halves of a whole, perfectly in sync. But as high school drew to a close, reality began to cast its shadow over us. Our dreams were calling, and they were pulling us in different directions. It was a sunny afternoon, just a few weeks before graduation, when the topic we'd been avoiding finally surfaced. We were at our favorite spot, the old oak tree by the river, where the world seemed to stand still. Alex, we need to talk about the future, Emily said softly, her eyes not meeting mine. I knew this moment was coming, yet my heart sank. I know. You're going to LA for acting, and I'll be in New York for law school. It's not just that, she sighed, her fingers tracing patterns in the grass. It's the distance, Alex. Miles and miles between us. I reached for her hand, holding it gently. I know it's going to be tough, Emily. But we can make it work, can't we? We love each other. She looked up, her eyes glistening. I do love you, more than anything. But love isn't always enough, is it? It has to be, I insisted, feeling a desperate need to convince not just her, but myself as well. We'll call every night. Visit during holidays. It's just a few years, Em. Emily leaned against the tree, her gaze lost in the distance. I want to believe that, Alex. But we're chasing dreams. Big, demanding dreams. Can our love survive that? I pulled her close, feeling her warmth. Our love can survive anything, Emily. We're not like other couples. We're us. Her smile returned, though tinged with sadness. I want to hold on to that. I want us to be the exception. We will be, I promised, a vow I intended to keep. The next few weeks were a blur of graduation ceremonies and farewell parties. Before we knew it, the day arrived for us to go our separate ways. I stood at the airport, my heart heavy, as I watched Emily check in for her flight to LA. Remember, call me as soon as you land, I reminded her, trying to mask the tremor in my voice. I will. And you, Mr. Future Lawyer, better ace those classes, she teased, but her eyes were brimming with tears. I pulled her into a tight embrace, not caring about the curious glances from passersby. I'll miss you every second, Emily. And I, you, she whispered, clinging to me. As she stepped away, heading towards the security checkpoint, I felt a part of me leaving with her. We waved until she was out of sight, and then I was alone, truly alone for the first time in years. The months that followed tested us in ways we never imagined. Law school was grueling, demanding every ounce of my focus and energy. I spent nights buried in textbooks, my mind constantly wandering to Emily. Our nightly calls became the lifeline of our relationship, a precious connection in our separate worlds. Alex, you sound exhausted, Emily would say, her voice a soothing balm to my frayed nerves. I am, but it's worth it. How was your day? Tell me everything. And she would. She'd share stories of auditions, acting classes, and the vibrant life in LA. Her voice was always animated, alive with passion for her craft, and it filled me with pride. Yet, there was an undercurrent of loneliness in her words, a longing for something more. I wish you were here, she'd often say, and I echoed her sentiment. Holidays and special occasions were our brief reprieves, cherished moments where we could be together. I'd fly to LA or she'd come to New York, and for a short while, it was as if nothing had changed. We were Alex and Emily, the high school sweethearts, basking in the joy of each other's company. But as soon as we parted, the reality of our situation settled back in. It was a constant cycle of longing and brief reunions, a test of endurance and faith in our love. And through it all, we held on, clinging to the hope that our dreams wouldn't be the end of us, but rather the beginning of a new chapter in our love story. Life, as I quickly learned, was like riding a roller coaster blindfolded. You never knew when the next twist or turn would come. My years at law school in New York were a testament to that. Endless hours of studying, internships, and the relentless pursuit of a career in law. Emily, in her own whirlwind world in LA, was chasing her acting dreams with equal fervor. Our phone calls, once the highlight of my day, became a patchwork of missed connections and hurried conversations. Alex, I've got an audition in an hour. Can we talk later? Emily's voice was always full of apology, tinged with the stress of her relentless schedule. Of course, break a leg, I'd reply, trying to mask the disappointment of another postponed call. The day I graduated from law school was bittersweet. I had achieved my dream, but Emily couldn't make it. She was filming a pilot for a show that might be her big break. I'm so sorry, Alex. I wish I could be there, she said, her voice cracking with emotion over the phone. It's okay. I understand. Your career is important, I assured her, though my heart ached to see her. The congratulatory hugs from family and friends were a warm comfort, but her absence was a void no one could fill. I landed a job at a mid-sized law firm in Manhattan, specializing in corporate contracts. It wasn't the most exciting work, but it was stable and paid the bills. Emily's pilot got picked up, and she was busier than ever, her name starting to make waves in the industry. Our relationship, once unshakable, began to show cracks. The distance, both physical and emotional, was taking its toll. Alex, I feel like we're living separate lives, Emily confided during one of our rare, unhurried phone calls. I know, Em. It's hard, but we're both chasing what we want. We just need to find a way to make this work, I said, the words feeling more like a plea than a statement of fact. We need more than just phone calls, Alex. We need to be a part of each other's lives, she replied, her voice laced with a mix of frustration and longing. The strain of our long-distance relationship was evident. Yet, we both held on, unwilling to let go of the love that had brought us together. Then came the news that would change everything. My firm got entangled in an embezzlement scandal. The CEO was arrested, and within weeks, the firm collapsed. I lost my job, and with it, my sense of security. The firm is gone. I'm out of a job, I told her over the phone, my voice hollow. Oh my God, Alex, are you okay? What are you going to do? Her concern was palpable, a lifeline in my sea of uncertainty. I don't know, Em. I need to figure things out. Fast. With savings dwindling and the threat of debt looming, I began the grueling process of job hunting. The market was tough, and the rejections piled up, each one a blow to my already fragile state. Meanwhile, Emily's career was on the rise. She landed a significant role in a popular TV series. I was proud of her, but her success was a stark contrast to my own struggles. Alex, you'll find something soon. You're brilliant, and any firm would be lucky to have you, she reassured me during one of our calls. I hope you're right, Em. I just feel so lost right now. Our conversations became my solace, a reminder of a love that had weathered many storms. But as the days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the strain grew. Then, when things seemed their bleakest, Emily called with unexpected news. Alex, I've got a TV contract. It's good money, Alex. It can help us, she said, excitement and relief evident in her voice. That's amazing, Em. But you don't have to. I want to, Alex. We're in this together, remember? Her willingness to support us was a balm to my bruised ego. For the first time in months, I felt a glimmer of hope. With Emily's new contract, we managed to keep our heads above water. But the balance had shifted. I was no longer the provider, and that change, subtle as it was, began to reshape our dynamic in ways neither of us expected. The roller coaster of life had taken another sharp turn, and as I held on, I couldn't help but wonder where it would take us next. Emily and I were in uncharted territory, navigating the highs and lows together, yet apart. And through it all, our love, once a beacon of certainty, now flickered like a candle in the wind. The equilibrium we had found was a fragile one, hanging by a thread as thin as spider silk. Emily's success in her TV series was a lifeline, but it stretched our relationship taut, filled with unspoken tensions and hidden fears. The more she shone in the limelight, the more I grappled with the shadows of my own failures. One chilly November evening, as New York donned its winter cloak, I sat hunched over a pile of job applications when my phone beeped. A message from an unknown number flashed on the screen. Check your email. Important. Confusion furrowed my brow as I logged into my email. What I found sent a chill colder than the winter wind straight to my bones. Attached to an anonymous email were photographs of Emily, but not as I knew her. These photos showed her in a dimly lit room, her arms entwined around strangers, her face painted with a seductive allure. It was a side of her I'd never seen, couldn't even fathom. Emily, what is this? I confronted her over the phone, my voice a cocktail of shock and rage. What are you talking about, Alex? Her voice was calm, too calm. These photos. They're of you, at some sort of club. What's going on? I demanded, my heart thudding against my ribcage. There was a pause, a silence that stretched like an abyss. It's not what it looks like, Alex. I can explain. Explain? Explain how my wife ends up in a place like that? I could barely contain the tumult of emotions crashing over me. It's part of the TV show, Alex. A scene. It's all acting, she said quickly, her words rushed. I wanted to believe her, to cling to the normalcy of our life. But doubt, once planted, is a relentless weed. I need more than that, Em. This doesn't look like any TV set. We can talk when I'm back in New York, she said, a hint of desperation creeping into her voice. But I couldn't wait. The images haunted me, their implications gnawing at my sanity. I hired a private investigator, needing to know the truth, no matter how ugly it might be. Days later, the investigator's report landed on my desk. A detailed account of Emily's activities, times, places, people. The truth was stark, undeniable. She was working at a high-end private club, her role far from the innocent portrayal she'd fed me. I felt like a fool, duped, and betrayed. The confrontation was inevitable. Why, Emily? Why lie to me? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper when she returned. I was scared, Alex. Scared of losing everything, our home, our life together, she sobbed over the phone, her voice breaking. But to deceive me, to hide this. How could you? The pain in my voice was palpable, a living thing between us. I did it for us, Alex. For our future, she pleaded. For us? Or for you, Emily? For the thrill of it? I shot back, anger and hurt battling for dominance. It started for us, but I got lost along the way, she admitted, her voice a mere shadow. The revelation stung, a bitter pill to swallow. Our relationship, once my harbor, had become a sea of lies. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was a stranger under my roof. The arguments that followed were tempestuous, a storm that raged with accusations and denials. Emily's tears, once a bomb, now left me cold. Trust, once broken, is like shattered glass, impossible to put back together. I need time, Emily. Time to think, to understand. If I can ever understand this, I said, my words heavy with the weight of our fractured love. She nodded, her face a canvas of remorse and fear. I'll do anything, Alex. Anything to make this right. But could things ever be made right again? The question hung in the air, unanswered, as we drifted through the days, two ghosts haunting the remnants of a love that once was. The betrayal was a chasm too wide to bridge, a wound too deep to heal. I was at a crossroads, each path shrouded in uncertainty and pain. The choice before me was a hard one, perhaps the hardest I'd ever have to make. But make it I must, for the sake of my own shattered heart and a future that suddenly seemed as bleak as the winter sky outside my window. The days following the revelation were a blur, a cacophony of emotions that echoed through the hollow corridors of our apartment. Emily and I were like two actors in a tragic play, our roles reversed, the script unwritten. The air between us was thick with unsaid words, each glance a reminder of the chasm that had opened up in our lives. One evening, as the city lights flickered like distant stars, Emily broke the silence that had become our uninvited house guest. Alex, we need to talk. I can't stand this distance between us, she said, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and desperation. I looked up from the tangle of legal documents that had become my constant companions. Talk? What's left to say, Emily? You've lied to me, betrayed our marriage. She took a deep breath, as if bracing herself against a storm. I know I've made mistakes, terrible mistakes. But I did it for us, for our future. You have to believe me. Believe you? The words came out as a bitter laugh. How can I trust anything you say now? I never stopped loving you, Alex. Even when I was lost in that world, you were always in my heart, she pleaded, her eyes searching mine for a flicker of understanding. Her words, meant to comfort, only served to fuel the fire of my anger. Loving me? Is that what you call it? Sneaking around? Living a double life? It wasn't like that. It started as a means to an end, but I got caught up in it. The glamour, the attention, it was intoxicating, she confessed, her voice a mere whisper. And what about us? What about our vows? I shot back, feeling a raw edge to my words. I thought I could keep it separate, that it wouldn't affect us. But I was wrong, so wrong, she admitted, her posture deflated, beaten down by the weight of her choices. The conversation spiraled, a dizzying dance of accusations and apologies. With each word, the Emily I knew seemed to slip further away, replaced by a stranger with a face too familiar. In the days that followed, I grappled with the shards of our fractured relationship, each piece a sharp reminder of what we had lost. The truth was a bitter pill, lodged in my throat, unswallowable. Then, just when I thought the situation couldn't get any more complicated, an unexpected twist came knocking at my door. A mysterious envelope, no return address, its contents a revelation that turned my world upside down. Inside were documents, detailed accounts of Emily's time at the club, but with a shocking addition, evidence of another life, another identity. Emily, or should I say Eva, her alter ego, was not just an actress at a club, she was a star in a world far removed from the one we shared. Who is Eva? I confronted her, holding the damning evidence in my shaking hands. Emily's face went pale, her usual composure crumbling like a sandcastle at high tide. Eva, she's me, but not me. A part of me I created to survive in that world. Survive? Or thrive? I countered, feeling a cold fire in my veins. It started as a role, a character to play. But she became a part of me. A part one thought I could control, she stammered, her eyes darting away, unable to meet mine. The revelation spun around me, a tornado of lies and half-truths. Emily, my wife, my partner, was a stranger wearing a familiar face. Eva, her other self, was a creature of the night, a siren in a world of shadows. Fear gripped me, a fear of the unknown, of the woman I shared my life with. Who was she really? Emily, the woman I fell in love with, or Eva, the enigma wrapped in a riddle? The struggle for truth became my obsession, each day a journey into the heart of a mystery I never wanted to solve. Emily's dual life was a labyrinth with no exit, each turn revealing a new facet of her deception. As I stood at the crossroads of our shattered life, I knew a choice had to be made. But the path was fogged, obscured by the swirling mist of lies and revelations. The struggle for truth was not just about uncovering facts. It was about unraveling the enigma that was Emily, or Eva. And in that struggle, I feared I might lose myself, swallowed by the abyss that had opened up in the heart of our marriage. The days following the revelation about Emily, or Eva, were a maelstrom of emotions. Our apartment, once a sanctuary of love and warmth, had transformed into a battleground of mistrust and accusations. The air was thick with the scent of a dying relationship, every moment a reminder of the chasm that had opened between us. One stormy evening, as rain lashed against the windows like an angry symphony, Emily broke the silence that had enveloped us. "Alex, we can't go on like this. This tension, it's unbearable," she said, her voice a mixture of anger and desperation. "You think I don't know that?" I replied, my words sharp as knives. "Every day, I wake up to a stranger. You betrayed everything we had, Emily. It wasn't intentional. I got lost in a world I thought I could handle. But I was wrong," she countered, her eyes blazing with a mix of defiance and pain. "Lost? You chose that world, Emily. You chose Eve over us." I shot back, the hurt in my voice unmistakable. She flinched, as if my words were physical blows. "I thought I was doing it for us, for our future. But I see now, I was doing it for myself. For the thrill, the escape." The conversation spiraled, a toxic dance of blame and regret. With every word, the woman I loved seemed to slip further away, replaced by this enigma, this Eva. Then, in the midst of our heated exchange, the doorbell rang, an unwelcome interruption to our private war. I opened the door to find a man standing there, rain-soaked and holding an envelope. "Mr. Alex? I have something you need to see," he said, handing me the envelope before disappearing into the night. Bewildered, I tore open the envelope. Inside were documents, bank statements, and contracts, all leading to one undeniable truth. Emily had been funneling money from the club into a secret account, an account that was now substantial enough to be considered a small fortune. "Emily, what is this?" I asked, holding up the documents, my voice a mix of disbelief and outrage. She glanced at the papers, her face draining of color. I can explain." "Explain? Explain how you've been hoarding money? Money made from whatever it is you do at that club?" I demanded, my heart pounding in my chest. "It was a safety net, Alex. A way to ensure we'd be okay, no matter what happened," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "A safety net? Or a nest egg for Eva?" I retorted, feeling a bitter taste in my mouth. The room was spinning, the revelations piling up like a house of cards in a hurricane. Emily's duplicity was no longer just a betrayal of trust. It was a calculated scheme fueled by greed and hypocrisy. "You've been playing me all along, haven't you, Emily? Or should I say Eva?" I accused, the words laced with venom. "No, Alex, it's not like that. I was going to tell you. Eventually," she stammered, her composure crumbling. "Tell me? When? After you drained our life of every ounce of honesty?" I spat out, my anger a living thing. The argument raged on, a storm of accusations and denials. Emily's tears, once a symbol of remorse, now seemed like crocodile tears, a performance honed by her alter ego, Eva. As I stood amidst the wreckage of our marriage, I realized the Emily I knew, the Emily I loved, was gone. In her place stood a stranger, a woman driven by self-interest, cloaked in deceit. The choice before me was clear, yet agonizing. To continue this farce of a marriage would be to betray myself. But to walk away would mean turning my back on a love that once meant everything. As the rain outside petered out, a decision began to form in my mind, a decision that would mark the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter without Emily, without Eva. A chapter where the lies and betrayals of the past would be left behind, and a new, uncertain future would take their place. But as I stood there, on the precipice of this new beginning, a part of me mourned the loss of what could have been. The cruelty of fate, the hypocrisy of love, and the greed that had tainted everything we had. The road ahead was shrouded in fog, the path unclear. Yet, it was a path I knew I had to take, for the sake of my own shattered heart and the remnants of a life once shared with a woman who was now a stranger.